with Paul, what do you think has led to kind of a little bit of an upward tick here over the last 3 starts?
I think his fastball usage, pitching off of it, and being able to utilize the different pitches, sweeper, changeup, just splinker too, off of fastball.
And this runners in scoring position, is there any rhyme or reason to that, or is it just one of those baseball oddities, you think?
I would say just a baseball oddity, just the way that he gets after it. It's always interesting with stuff like that.
How important was it for him to go 7 innings the last start? And it was the first time in 2 months he had gone that deep in an outing.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we can get Paul to 7, it's huge, and really good to see him get into that. I mean, he had those couple games early on that were perfect game type stuff, and he has that type of repertoire that hopefully we see that again tonight.
Do you see signs that he's getting back to that form that he was in the beginning of the season?
I think so. I mean, the last few starts have been, I think, much better. Again, utilizing fastball, pitching in, and being able to use his off speed off of it.
Donnie, what have you seen from Mason? Obviously he's been pretty consistent all year, but it feels like this last few weeks he's picked it up a notch, especially with the velocity too.
Yeah, I mean, Mason's been huge for us. We was just talking about it with the guys about I think they utilize him in late, utilize him as an opener, and then one of the biggest games I think he threw was against the Nationals when it was a huge game on getaway day where season series was 3-3. We're a game behind them in the playoff in the standings, and he came in the 5th inning, bases loaded, and found a way to get out of that with just 1 run. He's been so huge for us in so many different ways too, not just pitching like he did last night in the 8th.
Why is he having this type of success?
I think it's the command. I mean, you see the stuff, you see the elite fastball, and command of fastball and the breaking balls.
Is he a guy you could put in 9th inning, left or right? Is he kind of getting to that point?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and we saw him there against the Brewers in the 9th inning and handled it really well. He continues to throw the ball great. Last night it was the 8th, and it was against their, it was 9-1-2 with PCA and Suzuki, and did a fantastic job.
He's added a few pitches to his arsenal. How impressive has it been just to see him with the curveball, and I think the sinker as well? How impressive has it been to see him use those pitches as effectively as he has?
Yeah, and command them, which is always, you don't know when you're adding pitches like that during spring training and season, and he's done a really good job of being able to command them as well.
What is it going to take to solve this Imanaga puzzle?
A really good approach, and hopefully yesterday off of Boyd, I felt like as the game went on, we got better in it. I think we've talked about against the lefties when we've been really good in our approach, and sometimes it's taken until the 4th, 5th inning, and sticking with it and finding a way. He has been good against us. I thought we battled him really well in Chicago earlier this year. Ran the pitch count up and made him work really good. Tonight you've got to continue the same. Yesterday 4 pitches in the 1st inning, and then as the game went on, really made Boyd work even more, which I thought was good that we stuck with the approach and found a way. Frustrating to not be able to come through with bases loaded and be able to push more runs across, but need to see more of the same tonight against Shota.
What makes his splitter so effective?
I think it's he's not a really big guy, and he can run the fastball up that has a different look from, not being as big, and he tunnels it extremely well off of the fastball.
I mean, there's a little more than a week before the trade deadline, and these next 2 series are against 2 teams that are ahead of you guys in the wild card race. Do you kind of see this series and the next one in particular as ones that can kind of determine the direction this team takes?
Well, I hope, the way we've competed, there's been a lot made about the last 20-ish games. I remember being in Philadelphia and talking about, this stretch coming up against teams better than 500. And at the time, we were 500. Now we're a little bit better than 500 too, and we're right there. I think that, the team has been very resilient. We've dealt with injuries, as all teams do, especially offensively, and then losing Sisk. continued to compete at a high level, and we need to keep doing that every single day. Regardless of what happened the day before, find a way to come out today and not get too far ahead of ourselves. So appreciate the question about the next, Cubs and Diamondbacks, and really focused on tonight against Chicago.
Donnie, since he started throwing when he was a rookie with Skenes and the splinter, have you seen that pitch evolve, change? Does he use it differently? Is the shape of it differently? Does it look the same as it used to?
Great question, and it's always interesting to me because the game plan could be one thing, and when that's working, I think it might have been against Milwaukee earlier this year. Going into the game, I don't think it was necessarily in the plan to rely on that heavily. Yeah. And then next thing you know, it was on, and it's just something that's an equalizer for him when it's feeling good. And you never. That's the thing that's fascinating with Paul, is you never know what pitch is going to be feeling really good that day, and there may be a pitch that he goes in planning on using a lot, and it's not feeling as good that day, and he has the ability to go to something else and get outs in a big way. And this blinker, it's when it
keeps it hidden for when he needs it.
Yes, he keeps it hidden, and then it'll come out and it'll be nasty. And when it's really good, we can tell from the side.
Mm-hmm.
You just see the depth and the movement on it from the side.
Johnny, do you scoreboard watch yet? There's a lot of scoreboard watch with a lot of teams still in contention. Do you do that, or do you think it's still a little too early in the season to get too wrapped up in what everyone else?
I mean, everybody knows what's going on and what's at stake, and just like the former question, like, we have to focus on today. And I know it's so cliched. We got a guy that has had some really good success against us in Imanaga, and we need to find a way to be prepared for today. And if we're consistently watching the scoreboard and playing like that, it's not the best way to go about it. We need to be focused on what we need to do today against a really good pitcher and find a way to have a solid approach. And I think that as the season goes on and we get into the later part of September, let's shoot to be in the same position, and it's still going to be the same thing that we need to focus on the day at hand.
You do check the scores after the games, I would assume. Or
no, sometimes. Yeah.
Lauenover, and how do you get them going? Is it just let the veterans ride it
They're
out
going to
and
get
play?
going. Yeah, they're two pros that have been through this and have meant a lot to us and are going to mean a lot to us. And actually, I thought they both had really good swings yesterday. Aaron had some good hits. Lau had really good swings, maybe not as much to show for it, but just missed a home run, lined out. Reynolds as well, hit a 109 bullet. They'll be rolling.
I know Indy had a double in his first at bat. What did you hear from him? Is there optimism that this could be pretty soon?
Yeah, everything sounded good. Don't have a full timeline on exactly when that will be, but he came out of the game in a good spot.
Is Ford someone will need to go to Altoona or Indianapolis before returning here, or is it more likely that Bradenton could be enough for him?
To be determined still. Not exactly sure.
Donnie, what have you learned about managing this time of year, meaning the trade deadline? It's a week out. Guys are inevitably going to see things on Twitter, social media. Like, how do you approach that? I know you went through it last year, but what did that sort of inform for you?
Well, last year was thankfully in a different way.
Yeah.
We're in a much different spot right now as far as talking about acquiring, which can be challenging too, because there's always an uneasiness of what that entails. I've been through a lot personally in my career, and Leland always told me they never got the bats thrown in with the balls, so I never got traded. And always stuck with the team, but there's always an uneasiness about it, regardless of if it's acquiring players, because then guys know that there's going to have to be moves, and also with when unfortunately last year when we were in a position where we were going to be trading guys, and you're dealing with human beings that have families and the uneasiness that creates. So there's always conversations to have, and trying to be upfront and transparent with guys as much as we can in regards to what's going on. And I know Ben in the front office are focused on trying to help us be the best team that we can possibly be.
With your clubhouse, Donnie, in particular, when a team is in position to buy or improve, sometimes there's an anxiousness from the clubhouse as, hey, you know, we're close, we're a piece or three away, and that kind of comes from the players, and they want to see additions to, you know, add some fuel to this thing. Are you feeling that from your clubhouse that, hey, you know, we've got a pretty good group here, and you know, if they add to it, we could do something. You feel that from your team?
Well, I think that they do. I think that one thing that they've shown is the resilience and the way of how we've competed throughout the season. I think that, you know, certainly they've earned the position that we're in right now. And I think that as we go through this stretch of these games, the tough games that we're facing, and it's a lot of guys haven't been in that position. I think that making moves will reinforce that belief that we have in them, and I think that they have in themselves to go out and compete at that level and prove that we belong where we're at.
Do you ever use any Lelandisms on your players?
No, it wouldn't. I don't think it would be as authentic. You know, like Skip was so dry and good, and I think he I don't know if he started that his first year with guys. I think he learned along the way and how to do that. It would not be good if I tried to be the same as Jim Leland, I'll tell you that.
You called me numbnuts my entire first year.